Yeah. And lastly, to kind of finish off the show, um, we said we were going to talk about um, NFL's NFL's television outlook, NFL's broadcasting outlook. Now that the season has ended, it's much easier to in a sober way to digest all of that. You said to a big extent, maybe you're more talking about Europeans, but you said that it's still difficult for many people to really be interested full time in the NFL, or at least for a broader audience to be interested because of breaks, because of game length. But in the United States, not only have the ratings gone up, they've been the highest in years, and also the gap has narrowed between everything else and the NFL, between everything else on television and the NFL. Just a few examples: the CBS coverage was the most watched in 7 years. The Fox coverage was the best since 2016. The Sunday Night Football was up 3%, and Amazon we're going to talk about separately. And all of that, the NFL, I think its average rating across all the games, uh, is the highest since 2015. 2015 was the record year for all time in terms of viewership, I think, but also was very high in ratings. And last year was the highest if we exclude 2021. So 2021 was higher, but 2022 was the second highest. And everything that, despite linear TV, that's broadcast television, this is pretty much all the other programs on those television networks, except for the NFL, except for sports, because sports are a very important commodity. Viewership dropped 50% in just the second half of last year. No, it dropped under 50%, meaning it's.
So it didn't drop by 50%.
The total viewership, total usage of linear TV on TV sets dropped under 50%. 50% of households.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it also, a lot of this is because like a lot of people nowadays watch illegal streams. So I think they just don't want to pay for, like maybe the channels or like the cable. I don't know.
No, linear TV is antenna. It's the broadcast television.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
and CBS, Fox,
I think overall,
NBC.
then just the fact that people just don't want to pay for these packages when they can find all of these matches online for free as well, or they can just sign up for
they still watch NFL on television. They watch the NFL. The other things they don't watch.
Oh,
everything else is going down.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, we've known for years that the NFL is king when it comes to sports products and basically everything else in the USA. I mean, it is probably by far the most popular of the major sports leagues. I don't know if there's a specific reason for it that it's growing so much, because like marketing wise, as we said, there's not a lot of competition, only maybe the NBA.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like the NFL has much larger fan base than the NBA in the US purely, because outside the US the NBA is probably more popular for obvious reasons, because a lot more countries play basketball. But yeah, I mean, in the US I'm not surprised that the numbers are higher than ever. I mean, more and more people are getting into football, and then what I meant by the fact that people can't really get in, especially in Europe, they can't get into football. American football because of all the breaks and stuff. I meant that because they grew up with like regular football or like other sports without as many advertisements. In the USA, you grew up watching all the sports with the advertisements constantly happening. So I think you get used to it. If you start watching football, that's your first experience as a sport, maybe that or like the NBA, but it's kind of similar for both companies or organizations. That it's entertainment basically as a product. A lot of advertisement, so you just kind of get used to it. So I think it's different to compare like people in the United States starting to watch like NFL games compared to like Europe. I think it's easier for the NFL to target new people in the United States as well, because it's just so much bigger than like in everywhere else in the world. So I think that's part of the reason why the NFL keeps growing. Not just like in the United States, also outside. I mean, it's still getting bigger.
Keeps growing even more outside of the US.
I mean, that's why I didn't want to like generalize like overall, like not every European fans feels that way. But as they get more and more fans, then there might be more and more criticism going their way because of like foreign fans that don't know much about the league, and they maybe want to have some changes being done. Obviously, that's not a big.
But if they get more fans, it means that the product has made them fans. If the product makes them fans, that the product is not so flawed.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's flawed, but I just mean when we went back to the conversation, like if we go back to the conversation that we had like an hour ago or something.
Yeah.
That for a lot of these fans, they just even if they like the NFL as a sport or like American football as a sport. A lot of the fans, if they had the option to remove like advertisements, they would, and obviously not going to do that as it's let's just say that it's part of the game today, but there might be some demands as to change the overall product, like maybe less advertisements in Europe, and maybe the NFL, if they want to like reach a big audience in Europe, they might start doing maybe like certain packages where people can watch the games. Without like advertisements, so they're not gonna offer them like live matches, but they offer them like a package maybe where they watch the game, like a condensed version where they put in.
But would you rather watch just teams warming up between offenses than watch commercials?
I would say yes, for me personally, and like, but I meant like if when in the NFL Network, once the game is complete, they upload like the condensed version, so like they upload all the plays but like without all the advertisements. So I think if they made like some kind of special product for European fans, something like this where they only show the game, then it might gain them more fans outside of the USA as well. Maybe they offer some kind of package for like a TV channel in like European countries where they will be showing the games in like a condensed, like 40-minute version or 1 hour version.
But you already have that in Europe, and people still prefer to watch it on local broadcast television, where you already have some networks. Instead of the commercials, they have like studio program, but you still have the break, and people are not turned.
Oh, but that's what I mean. So they don't like it not as a live product, but as like something like they wouldn't show the games live, but they show it like maybe the next day.
Yeah.
As like not in highlights, but a shorter, like 40-minute, 1 hour condensed version. So it's not the live product I'm talking about, but like the game.
You have the NFL Game Pass, obviously, but sports nowhere, not in the US, but also not in Europe. Nowhere has sports made it on streaming. So apparently, people don't feel. Even if it's 40 minutes, people don't want to watch sports that much on taped.
I mean,
for example,
I understand that.
That's why in the US and increasingly in the UK, I'm going to give an example. You see, the pattern has been scripted television, that is TV series. They have exited as quickly as possible and at a rapid pace. They've exited television. They've arrived on streaming platforms. And new TV shows have the better TV shows have arrived at streaming platforms rather than what would be the case 15 years ago on television networks. The scripted television is now streaming territory. And that has increased the importance of two things in particular. One is news / politics. The other one is live sports. And sports is an important asset because it has not made it because there is no demand for it on streaming, and that's why these days it's normal for all 4 of the broadcast TV networks to show sports all day on the weekends.
Yeah, and they have the several like sub channels as well, where they show like different
sub channels. Cable is a kind of complicated matter.
For like ESPN, they have like multiple.
ESPN is not a broadcast network. CBS, Fox, NBC, and ABC. These are the big 4.
Okay.
Yeah, and occasionally CW. CW have a contract, but I don't remember for what. Not for the XFL. They had a broadcasting contract for something. CW. This is a 5th.
USFL.
No, USFL is on Fox. Yeah, but anyway, and you might say, it's still you might say this is still corresponding to what I said, because Americans, as I said, are different than Europeans. But you've seen that even in Europe. Now in the UK, for example, ITV is one example. ITV has increased the number of TV series they've offered exclusively on their streaming platform, which is called ITVX. Yeah. And instead, they're now are broadcasting a lot more live sports on their broadcast channels, which was unthinkable on British television, except for BBC. Some 15 years ago, but now on weekends, many weekends there is darts. They broadcast, for example, the Players' Championship, the UK Open.
Yeah. Some of the bigger tournaments as well, like maybe like a European Championship. I think.
Yeah, European Championship, World Series. They also broadcast international rugby. They broadcast the Six Nations whenever it's on. They broadcast if there is World Cup well. And. No, not Premier League. They broadcast the Rugby Premiership.
But I'm pretty sure they offer packages for Premier League games as well.
No, it's not ITV. That's Sky Sports. Sky Sports is paid television.
Yeah, but I think also ITV has a package where they can watch.
No. Okay. That ended 30 years ago when Sky Sports was established. When the Premier League was established, the Sky Sports got the rights for the Premier League once the Premier League was established. ITV had the rights for Division 1. But the clubs they made an exodus and they established the Premier League, which is a kind of a more independent organization of the football league. And the Sky Sports got the first rights for the Premier League. But you've seen that even in UK. You've seen that also in Germany. Germany, I think every week. There is one Bundesliga game live on Sat.1. Again, that would have been very difficult to have. And even this season, every NFL game was on broadcast television in Germany.
Every game?
Every of the early games. Games, one game per slot. That was difficult to imagine some 15 years ago. This process has translated from the US, has also translated in the same process in Europe.
I mean, we are even in Hungary. I think I can't remember when it started, but I know for like a good 15 years they have been showing. I think one game of the early window on Sundays, and then one of the afternoon games, and then obviously Sunday night football. So like all the primetime games, and then one or two matches from Sunday. I think it has been on Hungarian channels.
But that's the Sport One, the Hungarian channel. That's paid. That's paid.
Not anymore. It's not a Sport TV anymore.
They changed it. Yeah, they changed it. But it used to be Sport One, right?
Yeah, it used to be there, but then now they changed it as well.
Yeah, but that's paid television. I'm talking about broadcast television. Okay. Those are the channels that you would back in the day you would get with the antenna. I think you can still get them with the antenna in the US, but they changed that. But I think European Union changed that.
I think the current channel is a broadcast channel because you don't have it for every household. I'm pretty sure the current channel where they have the NFL in Hungary.
Okay, they might have changed the contract, which only goes to show that this transition is ongoing. The NFL is growing at even higher rates than it is in the US.
Yeah, I mean it's getting bigger and bigger. I mean even here when we just met at the beginning of last year. Yeah. I mean we instantly managed to create a group chat and a fantasy football league as well, just because there were a couple people in our course that were interested in the NFL. And you would think that in Europe it's kind of rare to see only in one class that so many people come together. Not so many, but like 8-10 people come together because of the same interest. And even though we don't like keep up
in the Netherlands
together.
In the Netherlands is rare, but in Germany and UK it's not rare anymore at all.
Yeah, I mean I just like think about like the game I went to in the Wembley. It's so many fans there. I mean the tickets sold out so quickly because I remember there was a queue for the tickets, and it was supposed to start at like 10:30 in the morning on one of these days, and they accidentally opened it at midnight. And then when I checked in the morning, there were already like 250,000 people in queue just to get tickets. So it's absolutely massive in Europe as well. So I'm not denying that, but obviously they still have a bigger audience in the USA, and most of their fans are still from the USA.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, overall, if they have to cater to American fans more than European fans.
Mhm.
So like that's what I'm saying. Like some of these changes that or some of these suggestions that I had, it's not about like yeah they should implement this. It's just like some ideas that we can throw around as to how we can potentially grow the
Mhm.
NFL in Europe. But I think they're already doing a good job.
They already have
Uh,
most of those things.
Yeah, I mean, from like the fact that they started like having games not only in the UK but in
Mhm.
Germany as well. I think that's a huge for the sport as well, because a lot of fans in Europe probably can more easily access a game in Germany compared to
Mhm.
the UK.
Mhm.
So even that it just makes it easier for fans to go and watch a game in live or in person.